Hi everyone, welcome to Connections Unplugged from LinkedIn to Life. This is my video podcast, multi-streaming live on LinkedIn, Facebook and YouTube. Thanks to OneStream Live, a company from Finland with a great product that enables me to stream my content pre-recorded or go completely live in all my social media platforms as well as the web. In this podcast series, which has been on my mind for quite a long time, and I finally this year got a chance to bring this concept to life, I bring to you every week on Wednesdays at 11 o'clock Finnish time, one of my LinkedIn connections. I want to not only get to know them on a deeper level, both personally and professionally, but you also got a chance to eavesdrop to our conversation. The format is quite unscripted. That's why it's unplugged. The guests don't know what I'm about to ask them. I don't know what I'm about to ask them. I just want to listen to them and then come up with interesting questions. So we get a chance together to explore who they are, and they get a chance to tell about their lives and their stories the way they want them to be told. So I would love today to introduce you to a lovely lady. She's waiting at the backstage, and I'll bring her right here with me. Hi, Cata.
Hi, Krista. Nice to meet you.
Nice to see you after a long time. Cata Mansikka-aho is an old friend of mine. I'll tell you shortly, I'll show you, have a little surprise for Cata as well. Cata Mansikka-aho professionally, if you go to her LinkedIn page, you will see that she has quite a good presence there, a good digital footprint. And the headline reads, Account Director at Reverse. And she is a multi-talented lady, not only an IT security person, but also a negotiator, a great presenter with a musical background, a mother. She's been involved in community work. She has done quite a lot in her life. And as I said, she's very multi-talented. So we will get a chance to see who Cata is and what has been her past, her present, and where she's heading in the future. So Cata, let me first ask you, do you recall this picture?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, wonderful. I must have it somewhere, actually. Yes, it's a beautiful picture of us, long time ago, though.
This is a picture of me there and Cata, as you see exactly how we are. And now I'm there on the left and Cata is on the right. Do you recall how many years this was ago?
That's a good question. I would say more than a decade, definitely.
I would say more than 15 years approximately. You're right. But look how fresh we are. We haven't changed at all. Here we are.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, definitely.
So in this picture, what we just saw, I was interviewing Cata once more in the past for my radio show. And here you are on my podcast again. Let's go back to those moments, a little bit of your past, because you are a trained musician and a singer, right? You have a musical education, and I got to know you as a singer. I think that's why I interview you first on my radio show. So tell us a little bit about your background, where you're coming from, and then we'll look who you are today, where you are in your professional career, and then we look what's lies ahead.
Yeah, definitely, and thank you for showing the picture and reminding of everything. It was so nice to meet you then, and nice to meet you now. Music has been always a part of my life, and it's a strong part of my identity. I was raised in a home that invested in us. They wanted to develop musical talents, and they gave us a selection of different instruments, and that was kind of like very big part of or major part of my upbringing and raising at home. I remember like spending tons and tons of time with different music institution. I at the time when I went to ground school, music was part of the studies. So I was studying already very much music theory, history, just all what you can think of. I went to Sibelius Senior High and Helsinki Conservatorium, but just before that, when I was 3 years old, I was told that I was singing in front of the audience first time. So it has been part of me. Without me, really, I always say that music chose me. I didn't choose music. It was part of me when I was born.
So as you said, your parents have invested in you having this more cultural and musical education. What do you think? Was it a wise decision, or has it shaped you somehow? Because of course, has it helped you with your presentation skills, or how has this musical education has helped you in your professional life or in your personal life?
Well, definitely music is part of humanity. And whenever you got a chance to do music, even without being a professional musician, it's a good investment. Playing an instrument or singing in a choir or whatever you want to do, that's kind of like, that is something that brings good side of it. It brings people together, and it gives you so much more in the life. I believe that also, like, it developed lots of my thinking skills, like analytical skills, presentation skills. Definitely, I was already performing at very young age, so I don't feel uncomfortable in front of the audience.
Mm-hmm. And how has your career developed from being a performer, a singer? How was if you remember, from the early days until where you are now? What are the highlights of your careers? I know you have done so many things and in different industries. Is there a red thread that connects everything that you have done in your professional progression?
Well, the thing is that since I was very young, also I had very entrepreneurial mindset. We were, part of the scouts. We were selling different things for the scouts or our club, and we were doing different concerts and collected tickets, sold tickets and collected ticket money from people.
Sales.
And sales was like from early stage, and it has been different coincidences, because I have been always very curious. I have met so many different people, and usually I don't say no to gigs or no to new opportunities. I'm kind of like, I want to explore the life, and I think that has been kind of like leading me towards. I was invited to become assistant in Parliament of Finland for a member of Parliament. Music was still part of my life. I was actually on tour when I met my future boss, and from that moment, things proceeded. And when I worked 10 years in a parliament, and it was interesting to learn so many different about the digitalization, actually, because it's a big part of our shaping our lives nowadays in the world. I thought, like, during those years, I found out that digitalization is shaping and the most effective power in our worlds. It can be a threat, but it can be a possibility as well. And I took the possibility.
And so from music, you've been an assistant to a member of the parliament here in Finland. And as you said, digitalization you learned a lot about that, and maybe that pivoted you to your next job or jobs, because now you're very much involved in cybersecurity, right? In the past years.
And 4 years. Yes.
4 years. You're currently working for a company called Reversec. I will show shortly the link to the company. You can tell us a little bit what exactly the company does, but to my understanding, you're helping organizations tackle cybersecurity challenges that might be faced. I think it's a very current topic that's being a lot in the media. People are, or at least if you are familiar with the digital world, there's a lot of concern even, and of course the situation politically around the globe, it is what it is. So tell us a little bit, Cata, your insights regarding cybersecurity, why it matters now, and what should organizations focus on?
Well, I want to answer your first question. What is Reversec? Reversec is actually a new brand for WithSecure cybersecurity consulting, which is part of the WithSecure corporation. It's a business unit, consulting business unit, and we have been serving over 30 years in cybersecurity. We serve government, from government public organizations to private companies, from big corporations to mid-size companies throughout the world. And we are actually a global company. We have close to 300 consultants, and we have here a big presence in Nordics, headquarters here in Helsinki, Finland, here in Jätkäsaari, Välimerenkatu 1. Actually, you should visit also our headquarters, because we have the #1 and first in the world concerning cybersecurity. We have a museum that presents the history of malware art, which is kind of like a history of what has happened with the cybersecurity during last decades. From 80s, it's actually the whole idea was came from Mikko Hyppönen, who has a big presence in the media when we talk about the cybersecurity. But Reversec is a new brand for this consulting business, which is now sold to a Swedish holding company partly. And yes, we are really dedicated to help different businesses to overcome their most complex security challenges. So we help in everything what concerns cybersecurity. As I said, again, formerly known as the consulting unit of WithSecure, we now focus on turning pioneering research into practical solutions, and we want to help our organizations to stay ahead of threats. Because actually, I was in a seminar where I heard from one officer from the criminal police who said that the ENISA, which is actually a leading organization of Europe's Union, released an article and research that only last year all the cybersecurity crimes increased 7 times, multiplied 7 times. Can you imagine? This is just like a tip of the iceberg, because the officer said that only part of the crimes are actually investigated. Many of the companies, they wipe it out under the table because it's a big threat to their business and their reputation. So they don't inform anyone. So most likely there are more crimes happening as we speak. And if you think about the digitalization, this is one part of the threat. And that makes my work very, I would say, meaningful, that I'm helping not just public organization, but the society to stay ahead of these threats.
And we are here in Finland. I would love to come and visit you. Thank you for the invitation. Maybe we'll go completely live there, show your beautiful premise if we have the permission to do so.
Sure.
And the museum, as you said. But you're exactly right. So you set the scene, because you know that a lot of things are coming, as we are based in Europe, from the European Union and the Commission. And then it goes down to the national legislations. And now, given the political situation around the world, and especially very close to to Europe. Here we have the threats around us. There's a lot of things happening, as recently have happened to South Europe. So the digital currency is coming. There are a lot of concerns. Then we have those cables here in the Baltic Sea. Lots of incidents have happened. So there has been also close to Finland, or here in our region, because Finland has managed to brand itself as one of the safest places actually to live. Right, to live and work and study. So what is the know-how, Cata, that Finland has, or the Nordics are having? Why these Nordic countries have managed to brand themselves successfully as safe places, innovative places, places that understand technology very well? What is the specific know-how that your company or this part of the world has to offer in the EU and European level, or also globally?
Well, let's start that, we Finnish people, we know what it means to live with the neighbor. We have the longest border with our eastern neighbor, Russia. And that has, and if you think about our history altogether, we are a small country of 5 to 6 million people. We are not too many. But we have always been there ahead of our time with preparation. Like we have invested into defense, we have invested into security. If you think about the story of Finland, it's remarkable. We are now more than 100 years old nation, but just before that, before we became independent, there was already a big nationalistic movement. We had our own language, and in that sense, Finland has been very we have been privileged, and we have you could say even we have been blessed, because we were able to speak our own language, and we had our strong identity, because language goes together with the identity and nationality. And there were many people who were fighting and for the possibility to have our own nation. And when we became independent, that sort of pushed us forward. We were working together. I think one remarkable thing in Finland is also that the women's right has always been part of our society. When we became independent, the first parliament had already 38% of female members, decision makers. And I think, in my opinion, that is one key success point for our nation. Because if you think about just different companies, the research tells that if there are female members in the board of the company, they are more successful. And since we are a small nation, we didn't hesitate to use everyone. It doesn't matter, are you a woman or a man? And in that sense, our story tells about the small nation that worked hard and always sort of kept also in the back of our heads. We remember what happened during the Second World War. We were attacked brutally, like Ukraine is attacked today. That's why our heart goes to Ukraine. We know what war means. And all of us Finnish citizens who have grandparents, everyone has stories from the war, and that's why we always we didn't let go that inheritance that we carry in ourselves keeps us going. And in that sense, nowadays I think Finland has really unique and powerful position to be a thought leader in security inside Europe's Union, because now people are waking up. Oh my God, we never thought that there would be a war in Europe, and now we have it. We are facing it. So what we're gonna do? And in that sense, that is one that gives me motivation with cybersecurity. I know that we are doing something important. We are protecting our country. We are protecting the free world.
Very important issues, and I think you nailed the analysis there about what Finland is. And for the listeners who don't know where Finland is, you said that Finland is in the northernmost part of Europe with the longest border with Russia. It comes from the history. You have a personal also. You said that your grandparents or almost every Finnish family has stories. What is your family's story? Do you have stories from your grandparents that you like to share, or what have you been listening to growing up?
Well, it's interesting, and I would say that I can share the experience with many of my friends that there is not much detailed stories about war. Our grandparents didn't want to talk too much. However, we know that they served there. My grandmother was only 18 years old when war broke, and she had actually tickets to America. She got tickets from her father to go to America to work there. It was year 38, and she heard from the radio, okay, Russia has attacked Finland. And this I know that she stood up and said, I don't have time to go to America. I need to go to war. And we had this Lotta Svärd organization that organized women to go as volunteers to war, to help there in everything. And my grandmother was part of intelligence. She was in front lines. She was there. Actually, she was in a key position. She would send messages to different units that how many airplanes are coming and how many are there and how fast they are and which direction they are heading. So she was there, and that has been quite a position. I think, like, what did she see? I tried to ask her, like, can you tell me something? And only thing she said, like, it's too bad and too hard to tell. So in that sense, I don't wish that the war would ever that we would have the situation that we have to live with the war. It's horrible. Like and there are people who are saying that we shouldn't prepare ourselves for the war. I think that's a wrong idea. We have to be prepared so that these bad things wouldn't happen. Like with the cybersecurity, there are companies who don't have any preparation. They don't acknowledge the threat, and they do nothing, and then they are attacked. So that's how our Finnish mindset is built. That we prepare.
Better prepared and you see it a lot in Finland. When I welcome guests from other countries and sometimes I give them a walking tour in Helsinki, I often take them underground and I explain about the shelters that Finland has. There's more than 50,000 shelters all over Finland, thousands in the Helsinki metropolitan area. Some are public and some are from the private companies, because according to the law in Finland, more than certain square meters, you're obligated to provide a shelter for your population, whether people are living there or working there in your premises. So the infrastructure in Finland, so as you said, the Finns by nature and by experience, historical experience, they're always very methodical and very prepared. After the Second World War, they started really preparing for the worst. Of course, it's a very peaceful nation as well. I think we agree that no one wants to go into war or have, as you heard the stories or you've seen the sorrow in your grandparents and the narratives of the fact that they don't want to talk about the ugly sides of a war. But Finns are very prepared. What do you, Cata, personally, if we change the topic, what brings you peace of mind and what reassures you and what do you enjoy doing? What do you like to do that really calms you after a long day at work and brings happiness and relief to you?
Well, I have many hobbies. Maybe the most, my favorite hobby would be sailing and boating and wooden boats in general. I love wooden boats. I love history of those boats, and I happen to own one, a boat from the 50s, and I like to be a captain of that boat, and that gives me, like, during the summer and sailing season, that is something that is worth waiting for, and that is kind of like a lifestyle that I like to have, and Finnish nature, seaside, the islands are just remarkable. Like, if you go to Turku Islands, those are one of the most beautiful islands in the world. Thousands of islands, and it's just amazing to go there and explore. And that is what gives me kind of like meaning to work through the winter and
Then
wait
you
for
can be on captain of your boat in summer. So now the season is starting. So Captain Cata Mansikka-aho will take a boat out into the archipelago. And for those listening and watching, Finland, as well as my home country of Greece, or both of my countries, Finland and Greece, we're privileged to have archipelago with thousands of beautiful islands, lots to explore. And of course, Finns love their summer. There are also many great captains who are able to navigate in the seas there. So how does Kata? Now it brings to my mind that actually I remember that you have been a member of the Stadinslagi Seura Association in Finland. I don't know if you're still a member. Tell us a little bit what this is about, because I remember you singing in one of these wooden boats on a little sailing tour, if I'm not mistaken, many years ago.
I was actually a member of the board of that Stadinslagi. Yes. That's a slang organization that is publishing. Well, Helsinki has this you would call a slang, or some said bastard language. Yeah, it's a mix of English, Russian, Swedish. Now it develops during the times. Like, you can say that the older people, they mix with the Russian and Swedish language and Finnish language, and then our generation has included English. So it's kind of a mix of languages, and
give us a little taste for our listeners. Give us some little taste, some words that how would you say in Finnish, and how would you say in the Helsinki Stadinslagi dialect?
Give me some study, or the study is the best, or yeah, it is kind of like the language. You have to live in Helsinki to be able to understand it, to be honest, and it takes time if you've never spoke that language to learn it. And those who come from outside of Helsinki area might be a little bit like, sometimes I have been in a situation that I used some slang words and people were a little bit lost at what did you say, but it's a part of history of Helsinki, and it has long history. There are even Bible, New Testament, and Kalevala that is translated to Stadinslagi. I remember actually handing over the Bible, New Testament, to our former president, Sauli Niinistö. And when he was elected as a president, I gave him also a Stadinslagi shirt. So I said, welcome to Helsinki, and it's great to have you here as a part of and member of our community. So that was a fun memory. And we invited him for aamuborga. Aamuborga means like the morning coffee at Hakaniemi Halli, that Hakaniemi market area, and that was fun. I think he had I think a president who has a good sense of humor is also like he came, and when we welcomed him, and he was there as the president. That was quite an event, I have to say, and a great memory from that time.
Great. Cata, is there anything else you would like to add? What is the essence of Cata? If somebody doesn't know you and there is one thing they need to know about you, what is your core essence? What else you would like
I
to?
would say, like, in my life, what defines me the most is a curiosity. I'm curious person, and I love different people. I love different cultures. I'm a curious person. I'm also very enthusiastic to try new things. That's why I guess, like, when I went to work at the parliament, I'm kind of a daredevil in a sense that I take new chances. I've never done this before, but I'm a quick learner. So, some people say that, oh, okay, I cannot take this opportunity because I've never done that. But how can you learn if you don't jump into that? And it was kind of like I had never said long trips, but I took a chance. I thought, oh well, there are maps and there are tools to go forward to navigate, and this is how I've learned in the technology. Last 14 years, I've learned about the technological architecture and cybersecurity, digitalization in general, what it means, and it's so interesting. And in a sense, the digital world is a reflection of our reality. It's a virtual reality, and we shape it and we mold it, and it always has a human touch in it. So that's why it's very interesting. And yes, I'm a curious person.
Curious captain, musical, everything. As I said in the beginning, very multi-talented and curious and brave, because it takes bravery to go into the unknown and say, I can do it, I can learn, trust me. So that creates, I think, a good trust in a person. If you have this attitude, the attitude that can do, will learn, will develop, and then of course your proven track record speaks for itself. Cata, my previous guest asked, so I have this concept where my previous guest asked a question to my next guest. So I will ask you now my previous guest question to you, and then I will ask you to give me your question to my upcoming guest. So let's take things first at a time. So if money was not an issue, so let's say you had a universal salary, or your income was fixed when you had to leave and pay the bills and so on and live a good life, what would you do if money was not an issue? What life would you do? Would you still work, or would you just take a boat and travel the archipelago?
I would definitely do charity. I think, like, without giving, we cannot really be happy. I would do something that would help girls, women's rights, or young people. My heart goes out for the young people who are maybe like have mental issues or challenges, or who feel that they're lost. So I would definitely do something. I would use art to help young people to find their meaning and purpose in life, or just any kind of charity. Help animals, help human beings, old people, young people. That would be my kind of like that would fill my days.
I think
Definitely.
that's a very noble cause, and especially children for me is very close to my heart. You are also a mother of a sweet boy. Look, we have to say that. Give my regards to your beautiful son, who is exactly that, young and artistic and competent. And I believe that we should focus a lot on the young generation, because these are the future, our children, right?
I have to give you also a reference, because you were actually his first English teacher. You gave courses to Lucas, and he speaks excellent English.
Oh, thank
So
you so much.
yeah, that gave really good background, and that was one really excellent investment into his future. uh,
Yes.
and about the noble, you said it sounds noble, but in my opinion, like I have found out that when I'm able to help someone or give out or give back, that really gives me so much more. That makes us happy.
Yeah.
And sometimes people are unhappy in their different situation, but let's think outside of the box and think what how could we help others, and then we find ourselves. That is my kind of like uh, advice for myself.
And that's true. Even research shows that when you give, you also receive. So the benefit comes back to you, or is this kind of ripple effect to the society. You help someone, you feel better, they go help someone else. So it really multiplies the effect. So it's even proven so you're exactly right. It's proven by science also. How about Kata, your question to my next guest? If there would be one question that you like to ask to people to pick their brains and see what kind of people they are, of course, with one question you cannot maybe understand the whole what this person is about. But do you have such a question that you like to ask to people to unlock their personality and the way of thinking?
Okay, let's go to the difficult one. How did you overcome the this far the greatest or hardest challenge of your life? How did you overcome it?
Mm. So my next guest will have to watch the episode here to Kata's questions and think about it, how they overcome one challenge, one of the greatest perhaps challenges, if any, they faced in their life. I would like to thank Cata Mansikka-aho, who was here with me. I hope we meet in person after a long break.
Definitely, let's get together and have coffee, and I invite you here to visit our Whittaker and Riversec headquarters here in Jätkäsaari. You're very welcome, and I will introduce you also this Mulberry Museum of Arts. It's actually open for the public every Friday, so welcome to visit us.
Welcome, everybody. Here's more information, reversec.com. And of course, I believe, Kata, you accept people to connect with you on LinkedIn, right?
Definitely, you're invited, and please send me a note and hi. I'll definitely answer everyone.
Great. So connect with Cata Mansikka-aho. Check out the beautiful company she is working with a lot of insight if you want some consulting and advice about cybersecurity matters. And I will see you next week. Thank you, Cata. Hope you take me on a boat ride as well.
Okay, yeah, that's the second thing.
That's
We will keep that in mind, and see you soon. It was
Thank you
nice
so
to
much.
meet you.
Thank you so much. That's Cata Mansikka-aho. Check out reversec.com and visit the museum. Of course, that's a great idea. I have to implement it perhaps and visit myself with my son. Thank you for tuning in and watching today's episode. So stay tuned for next episode Wednesday at 11 o'clock Finnish time. See you.